Okay, so we're going to take today, I'm going to show you something priceless. We're going to take a Google form that we've made a quiz, and we've already set a point value on all of our questions. So we have like a total of 100 points. What we want to do is we're going to export the Excel file and upload it into our gradebook. Let me show you how to do this. This is the best thing ever. So we're going to go to responses. And here I have 2 or 3 classes. I'm going to show you how to recognize the students and separate this so that you can import them. So let's go to Download Responses CSV. Okay, now let's go get that file. Okay, we want to make sure that it's a CSV file, and it is, because an Excel file will not work. So let's pull that file up. Now, as this is right here, there is no way that it can recognize, the gradebook can recognize any of this and put in a grade. So let's take a look at this. Just an FYI, let's look right here under this username. One of my questions that I always do is I set it as a numeric value and I say ID only. And if they type anything other than their 6-digit ID or numbers, then it won't accept it. But let's just say you have this that looks funky, and what it has is their @ So what we want to do is isolate the ID, and we want to isolate to the score. These are the only 2 things that your platform for grading needs. Now, since this particular test had Spanish words in it, these came out funky, and that's going to throw everything off a little bit. Most of the time for other classes you could just say, hey, this has a header row, so I want you to ignore it. But we're going to go ahead, and I've learned the hard way, we're going to go ahead and delete that. Okay, so how do we get this ID isolated? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to isolate it, but we have to have a place to put it. So here we go. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and insert a cell. We've highlighted the cell next to it. So this @G dot is going to all come over here, and then we've isolated the ID. So how do we do that now? Next step, we're going to highlight it. Highlight the row that we want to separate. Next step, we're going to go to Data up here. Next step, we're going to go to Text to Columns, because we want this text to come over here. So let's go to Text to Columns. So what we want to get rid of, everything past the @ sign. So it's right, that's the first one is checked. And no matter what you have, you can say, okay, like if there were a comma, you could go ahead, and these are the most common ones. However, in this case, what do we have? We have the @ sign. Look how beautiful that is. It's got rid of the @ and it made it look like this. Now what we have is a wonderful isolated ID. Now, next thing. This will not recognize all of this stuff here. Those dashes and all that, I like it nice and clean. In fact, I really just want these 2 numbers. But let's go look at this. And I don't care if it replaces all the data in this, so I'm not going to insert one, just so I can show you 2 different ways, because we have, I don't even need their last names. So what's the first thing we do? We click, we highlight it. Now where do we go? Yep, Data. Now we're going to go to Text to Columns. Okay, this is what it looks like. There's 2 ways to do it. We can either say, okay, where that dash is right there, let's move everything over. So 80.00. Actually, I don't like that. I just want 2 digits. So I'm saying, okay, wherever you see the period. So there you go. We got rid of all that and isolated it. So we're done. Okay, so now what we have to do is save it. because we're going to go grab it. Just like everything else, we're going to put it in our downloads. I'm going to label this first period. Or even if you have 20 periods, you can just call it the grade, because all it does is it recognizes the IDs for that grade. So you can have 100 responses and put it in one class and you're good to go. Okay, we have to make sure we saved it as a CSV. So let's hit save. All right, we got to close it. So now let's go into our gradebook and very quickly create an assignment. I'm going to title this trial, date assigned. And we're going to go through this fast because I know that you guys already know how to do all this. Okay, now a point value for it. And let's say there were only like 9 questions. You could put a 9 here, and that would make 100, because sometimes we forget to put on our forms, we forget to put a point value, and it just counts the number of questions. So you can play with it. It's really nice. You can do this with anything. So let's save that. Let's go grab that file, and there are students from other classes that took that quiz, but it's only going to recognize this one. Let's go import. Oh, so what we did, let me show you very quickly. We highlighted over this, mass update for scores, import scores from file. Let's choose file. That's the one I chose. Yes, it is a CSV. Okay, there's one little mistake that I made. I forgot to see what column number the student ID is and what column number the score is. So let me go look that up. This is a good actually teaching moment. So the student ID is in column number 2, 3, and then the score is in column number 4. Make sure you close it. Don't just minimize it. So the column number's 2, score 4, and then most of the time you all could put file has a header row or something like that, but on a foreign language, because there were funky letters, I had to delete that. No big. Okay, so let's see if this works. Keep your fingers crossed. Boom. 10 of them took. Magical. Like I said, not all of them took it. So hey, you can do this for just about any type of numeric value. Even your games and things you can export, as long as you can export as not a PDF, but as long as you can export them as a CSV file. All right, I hope that helped you.